parade is Israel. Let's take a quick look at Israel's COVID mortality rate situation. You can see that he had a pretty big spike here. This looks a little suspicious to me. Did he really have 100% mortality rate back in the spring? I just don't know about that. Let's see. So let's come back up here then. Let's just zoom in. So you can see now that Israel's mortality rate is about 0.8%. Okay, because yeah, 0.8%. No, 0.8. No, so right now Israel's mortality rate is less than 0.1%. Okay, because this line here is 0.1%. So you can see that. So you can see Israel that your mortality rate is currently less than 0.1%. You had a bit of a spike, a scare back over here. This was 0.6%, but now you're down to well, not tenths, less. So now you're down to less than 0.1%. Okay. So let's come back over here now. Let's take a look at Israel's numbers. So for the previous 365 days, Israel's had 2.5 million cases, 4,109 deaths. You can see, like several other countries, their February just clobbered Israel's cases for the year. Deaths are also fairly high, starting out. Of course, this line here is only 1,000 deaths. Now, this line here is a 7-day moving average. So at any point along the line is the average for the previous 7 days. And so you can see here currently for the 7-day period ending February the 6th, Israel is averaging 53,730 cases per day. And what about deaths? Currently for the previous 7 days, Israel is averaging 32 deaths per day. You can see the big spike here compared to over here. Okay, let's take a look at deaths now. So what we see here is the deaths were the Delta variant was much more fatal than the Omicron variant. Okay, yeah, you had a spike here, but overall, you haven't had this big spike here in deaths as a result of Omicron. Monthly cases and, of course, monthly deaths. As you can see, monthly deaths are not starting off well over here. Okay. All right. So that does conclude the report for Israel for today. Again, Israel, if you're watching this video on YouTube today, I'd appreciate if you'd click on that subscribe button, click on that like button, click on the share button, share the video on Facebook and Twitter today. Okay.